Hey there, People Stack family, and welcome to a new week, a new episode of the People Stack podcast. This week, the topic is resumes and LinkedIn profiles. If there's one question that we get asked more often than anything else, especially from people who are on the job market or thinking about going on the job market, and from people who are kind of just getting started in thinking about what's next in their career and really getting in the driver's seat and saying, I want to take control here, or what can I do? The first thing that comes to many people's minds is your resume. I got to upgrade my resume. I have to update it. I want to make it as perfect as it possibly can be. And oh yeah, my LinkedIn profile as well. Like in this day and age, if you apply for a job, they are going to look at your LinkedIn profile, even if they don't give you, even if you don't give them your LinkedIn profile link. And look, this is true, absolutely. It's obvious why this is a big topic for people who are in the job market, considering going on the job market. But it's also important for those of you who are looking for an internal promotion as well, because getting an internal promotion or getting a raise, it means selling your value. It means evangelizing your excellence. And what better way to evangelize your excellence than to give your boss, to give the senior leaders who are the decision makers your resume and show them your LinkedIn profile. Look, here's all the value that I've added at this organization over the last months and years. So really, no matter where you are in your career upgrading journey, it's important. I want to make sure that, like, number one, I underline that. Your resume is important. Your LinkedIn profile is important. Here's my message, though, that kind of flies in the face of conventional wisdom, is that your resume, your LinkedIn profile doesn't matter as much as you think it does. It doesn't matter as much as you've been led to believe. This is really a question of focus. Where do you focus your time and your energy when you're on the job market, when you're positioning yourself for a promotion? So many people focus like 90% of their energy on, I want to make an awesome resume. I want to make an awesome LinkedIn profile. And if you do it that way, it's like trying to push a rock uphill, a really, really big boulder uphill. You're making it so much harder for yourself. Your resume is important. Your LinkedIn profile is important, but it doesn't matter. They don't matter as much as you think they do. What matters more is what happens before and after. Here's what I mean by this. And this is really where I want to invite you to take a big picture view of career planning, a big picture view of thinking strategically about how you create what's next for you in your career. And if you really take a step back and look at the entire landscape, you will begin to see how small of a dot on that map that your resume and LinkedIn profile is. What happens before and after? Well, let's take a step back. What is the process of upgrading your career, of landing that next hell yes job, of landing that promotion, of landing that raise? It starts with, number one, it starts with getting clarity. It starts with getting absolute clarity on what you want and why you want it. What new job do you want? Why? What's the position? What's the title? What's your desired salary? What kind of company do you want to work for? If it's internal, what's the position? What's the title? What responsibilities are you going to have? What newfound superpowers are you going to be given? What's the job? Why do I want it? Getting absolute clarity on that and how it connects to the rest of what you want in life so that it can feel meaningful and it doesn't just feel like you're punching in and punching out. Getting absolute clarity, that's step one. So many people skip that step and dive right into, I got to write my resume. Without that clarity, your resume is going to suck. I guarantee it. We see it over and over and over again. So you have to have that clarity, number one. Then number two, you got to network. You have to intentionally build your network, not just by accident. Not just, oh yeah, right, well, one of my friends just invited me to dinner and he happened to mention about a job opening. Okay, yeah, right, that's networking, but that's networking by accident. Networking by accident is better than no networking, right? Something is better than nothing. But look, you got to get out there and intentionally build your ally network. Talk about the job that you want with people. Have virtual coffees. Hop on Slack and do a video chat. Reach out and let people know, hey, I'm looking. And get those allies who are going to be there for you to help you find that job and who are going to advocate for you. Build your network of allies. You have to do that intentionally. And then number three, because upgrading your career really just boils down to a series of conversations. That's what it is. How do I upgrade you're like, a lot of people are like, well, how do I upgrade my career, Jen? You have a series of conversations. That is what it is at its simplest form. And a lot of those conversations are going to be uncomfortable. A lot of those conversations are going to stretch the boundaries of what you think you're capable of, because you're putting yourself out there. You're evangelizing yourself. You're communicating your value. And for a lot of you, you're not used to doing that. So step three is advancing those conversations and doing that intentionally. When you're on the job market, it kind of happens for you in a little bit. So there's you're moving through the rounds of interviews, right? So it's like interview 1, interview 2, interview 3, screening interview, and then you get to talk with all the other people. So that's what advancing the conversation looks like when you're on the job market. When you're doing it internally, you have to do it much more intentionally and tell your boss, hey boss, it's time for that raise. It's time to talk about that raise, what's going to need to happen so that you can advocate for me for that. It's advancing those conversations. That's step 3, advancing the conversation in an intentional way, moving toward the win, moving toward the thing that you want, that raise, that promotion, that new job. And then step 4 is negotiating. You move the conversation forward to the point of, here's an offer. Okay, great, you can have that promotion. What are the terms? What's the payment? What's the salary? What's the bonus? Is there any stock or equity or anything, or grants or anything like that? Paid time off, health insurance. What are the responsibilities? What does my office look like? What resources do I get that are available to me? Do I get a computer, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? What's the work from home policy? All of that. That's the negotiation process. And then that's step 4. And then step 5 is you celebrate. Yay, I got the new job. I got the promotion. And you really get to own it and you get to deliver. You get to deliver on all the promises that you made throughout the previous 4 steps. Step 1, get clarity. Step 2, build your network of advocates. Step 3, advance the conversation toward your goal. Step 4, negotiate. Step 5, celebrate. So then the question becomes, so there's the landscape of advancing your career. Those are the steps. That's how you do it. That's how it happens every single time. Where in there is resume? Did you hear me mention anything about resume? Did you hear me mention anything about LinkedIn profile? It's in there. It's kind of like that old, was that a Ragu commercial? I think it was, oh, it's in there. You gotta really look for it. It's in there, but it's like so small. It's in the process of networking and in the process of advancing the conversation. Like, yeah, here, by the way, here's my resume. Here's my LinkedIn profile. Because you are a committed technical leader who wants to advance in your career. You're not applying for a job at Starbucks. You're not just going to send your resume in and cross your fingers and hope that artificial intelligence picks it up and doesn't reject it. That's not what you're doing. You're having real conversations with real humans. You're not letting your career rely on artificial intelligence. No. Let's use real human intelligence here. So when you do this right, yeah, your resume is there and you share it with people, but it almost becomes an afterthought. It's like, oh yeah, of course. Yeah, bring them in for an interview. Let's get her in here now. It's important. It's a piece, it's in there, but it's a sub-bullet point of a sub-bullet point of the much larger system. And that's the shift that I encourage you to make. Take a look at upgrading your career from a bird's eye view. Don't get so focused on I need to put 110% of my energy into upgrading my resume and my LinkedIn profile. If you do that, you're going to fail and it's going to be terrible because you're not going to have that perspective. You're not going to know who the resume is for. Know your audience. Your resume is a piece of marketing. Any marketing will fail if you don't know your audience. Who are your advocates? You're not going to be able to speak to them with your resume and otherwise if you don't have that clarity and you don't have those advocates. You're just saying, oh, here you go. It's sort of like, it's kind of like you spent all this time and all of this energy trying to build a perfect resume and a perfect LinkedIn profile. And then you're just like, okay, here you go. I'm covering my eyes and looking to the side for those of you listening and not watching. Like, that should be something that you're proud of and you put effort into it, but what happens before you write the resume and share the resume and what happens after you write the resume and share the resume is way, way, way more important. That clarity, those relationships, those conversations, advancing the conversation, negotiating, all of that is way more important. Matters way, way, way more than the words on your resume. So I encourage you to do that. Get out of the weeds of your career planning and take that bird's eye view. And now, once you have that bird's eye view and you realize, oh, wow, there's way more to this than I had considered, or I kind of knew that there was like a bigger picture of it, but I wasn't seeing it. And wow, I need help. I need help with that clarity. I need help building my allies. I don't know how to network. I'm terrible at it. I don't know how to negotiate. Oh my gosh, I've never negotiated for anything in my life. Interviewing, I'm kind of good at it, but I know that I can get better at it. And I want to be able to own my worth and I want to be able to evangelize my excellence. And yeah, I want a great resume too, but guess what? When you have all of those other things, the clarity, the ability to evangelize your excellence, the ability to own your worth, the ability to really communicate your value, writing your resume becomes easy. It's easy because everything else helps build you up to that. Because that's essentially what your resume is you're evangelizing your excellence. It's a piece of your evangelizing your excellence. It's a marketing piece. And you're probably realizing, oh, I thought I just needed help with my resume, but now I realize that I need help with so much else as well. So if that's where you are, it's time to book a call with us. thepeoplestack.com/book. Well, we'll help you begin to get that clarity around what you want in your career and what the exact steps are going to look like for you. Because while I overviewed the 5 steps, bird's eye view, the details of it are going to look different for every single person because everybody's journey is different. You come to the journey with a different set of obstacles. You come to the journey with a different set of resources, with different personalities, different decision-making styles, different goals. So we will begin to give you that clarity on what those steps are going to look like for you so that you can build your dream career. And if we're 100% confident that we can help you, that we're the experts to be in your corner, then we'll talk about what that help would look like. But no matter what, show up coachable, show up ready to think strategically about your career, and show up ready to commit to doing what it takes to reach your dreams and to have an amazing amount of impact. And it's going to be the most clarifying and valuable conversation you've ever had about your tech career. thepeoplestack.com/book. Go ahead and book that call today. My team is super excited to talk with you. And the message of the day is that your resume just doesn't matter as much as you think it does. It's important, but the rest of the steps in upgrading your career, the bird's eye view of it, is way, way more important than that. Take a step back and appreciate the career upgrading journey for what it is in its entirety. That's it for the day. Talk to you again really soon. Take care. That's a wrap.